Alright, this is a continuation of the first imperfect video, and this will be the second imperfect video because I feel like there was so much, and I'm still, learning how to get the footage from the Oculus and the Cat VR, and because I feel it's very unique. I feel compelled to make more like unique content, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But um, because I ended with this baby elephant analogy. To never abandon yourself, and it's something I wish somebody would have told me years ago. You know, that I was abandoning myself, and this is the thing. I feel like we're going back to what I was saying about nice guys, because we focus on the form, right? What people are doing, the 20%, right? I can't tell you how many people have told me like, "Oh, Kahir, you're a good-looking guy," or like, "You're so blessed. You grew up in the States, and things will, I don't know, just like be your own best friend." And it's very nice, and I said it, but there was a lot of resistance, right? Because it's not so simple just to be like, yeah, I'm gonna be my best friend. Maybe this for some people. For me, it totally was not, right? Because the thing is, it's about the 80% of it is inner work, right? The outer work, like working out, exercising, all this stuff is great, but 80% is inner work. That's why I said in the previous video about doing the workbook lessons. That's inner work. All right, it took time, it took discipline to stick with it. Right, but then it came kind of like putting a seatbelt on. When you're in a car, I just couldn't go my day without doing the course, because it was just, I needed to do it, but I had to start, I had to get that momentum going. When going like with nice guys, to be like, oh, just go out and talk to women, get over your anxiety. Yes, maybe that can be good, but if you're not doing the actual work, you're just going to be going back to old behavior. All right, that being said, I want to also reiterate everything I'm saying in this video is take it or leave it. This is something I also wish somebody told me was go with what resonates, because there's a lot of advice out there. There's tons of advice. Now, I'm not really focusing on advice, but I'll talk about my journey. But whatever I'm saying, take it or leave it. Go with what resonates with you, because I've gone so many years about following someone else's guidance when I would not listen to my own guidance. Right? This is what the Course in Miracles teaches. There's only one problem. It's a belief in separation, right? That we're separate from all that is. Right? Even science is catching up with quantum field and the zero energy field, or whatever. That kind of interests me, but not as much as, of course, the spiritual concept of it. That there is no such thing as separation, and that also makes it easier to go with self-compassion. If you understand everything is one, why would you attack somebody else, and why would you attack yourself? That's literally insanity, right? If there's only one person in the room, which Conversation in God talks about, if there's one person in the room, why would you beat yourself with a bat? Which is basically, what self-beratement, self-loathing is. It's just hurting yourself, right? Hurting yourself mentally. It's insanity. Not to discredit if you're doing it, right? This is where I've been guided to tell you guys, right? Like having self-compassion beyond human understanding. Beyond human understanding. Because surely, there's a limit. Like if I do, no, there is no limit. There is no limit, because what is the opposite, right? You'll be stuck. Right? If you believe, even there's like 1% where I can't allow myself to have compassion, then no, the cycle will continue. You understand? The Holy Spirit doesn't care what you do in form, right? Of course, if you hurt somebody else, right, make up, take amends, whatever you do in form, but you have to take care of yourself. This is paramount, right? Your peace is paramount. My peace is paramount. Your peace is paramount, right? Because I could see how I gave away my peace so easily to small things, like, people didn't like me, or a comment here or there or something, and because I valued the outside world more than the inner world, because this is how we're wired, how we're taught in society, right? Focus on the outer world, focus on the 20%, right? On the form, right? everything's inherently neutral. There's nothing wrong with the form. However, we put so much emphasis on the 20%. We don't focus on the 80%. We're on the energy. I know some people say like 100% energy, but whatever. I'll give you guys an example of something practical. So I had big struggle with weight issues. I was never like super overweight except for when I was a child. Like as a child, I grew up as a chubby kid. Even that word chubby just sends me kind of a negative spiral because it was something totally outside of my control. Going back to what I said about the elephant analogy in the first video, so there's a history of obesity in my family. My grandpa was obese, and my dad unfortunately is obese. He also had his own weight issues. And I remember he said, "Oh, it's the Onasi curse." I'm not using my real last name, but it's the Onasi curse. We're always going to be fat. Can you feel the heaviness of that? Like I was a young kid. I was like 7, 8. No, around maybe 8, 9, 10, around that when I started being like pudgy. And honestly, honest to God, I believed I couldn't lose weight. I believed it. I didn't see that like when I was growing up, I ate a lot of processed food, like Eggos in the morning and with yogurt or Nutella, peanut butter, like really high caloric stuff that I wouldn't even touch now. No, I had no idea. It was outside my control, right? But I believed it's my fault. I believed it's my fault. I believed the curse of the Nazis was real. I believed it. Also, I had this weird relationship with food because, it was a comforter, right? This is the thing about CPTSD that we develop like food addiction. For me, so looking about like trauma responses, I think I have like a freeze response where I like to dissociate, and one of my dissociations would be that I would, when I'd feel super stressed and I couldn't deal with it, I'd go and eat. I feel like outside of my body, I'd eat and it'd feel good, but then I'd gain weight and I'd toxic shame myself, be like, "Oh, you gained weight again." You see, this is like the 80% about the mental energy, right? And I would just sometimes I'd have my good moments and I'd stick to the diet and exercise and I'd lose some weight. But then I didn't work on the 80%. I didn't do the mental energy about working on this belief about I couldn't. Well, once I lost weight, I saw that I could lose weight. However, when I gained it all back because I didn't do the mental energy, like this heaviness, this weight, right? I still had to work on my relationship with food. That if I overate, I'm a horrible person. Which this is the negative cycle of the inner voice, right? First, it wants to soothe you, so you do a negative coping mechanism. You do it, and then you berate yourself for doing it. But self-compassion breaks the cycle, right? Because self-compassion, it doesn't judge. And this is what the Course says about having non-judgment, right? Because that's where true healing begins. Because as soon as you judge and say, "Oh, I'm bad for doing this," you're going to just continue it. Maybe not at that moment, but you'll continue it, because the pain is still there, right? But when you have this infinite self-compassion and you look at it for more of curiosity, like, why did I overeat? What was I trying to do? I was trying to soothe myself. I see. Well, maybe next time I'll soothe myself in a more compassionate way, more of a grounded way. I could do somatic breathing, or I could drink some tea to heal, whatever, and that then I started taking those actions when I was realizing I'm in an emotional flashback or I'm feeling very stressed. I'm going to soothe myself. This is something also I have talked about with self-compassion, is because when I learned as a kid just to stew in my emotions, right? Because I wasn't, I was just told like emotions are bad. You shouldn't be feeling these emotions. And I just like, okay, I'm going to stew and they're going to be in my body. All right. But when I realized you can actually process your emotions in a healthy way, you can soothe yourself in a healthy way. You could do some breathing or whatever, whatever journaling, whatever resonates with you. That was groundbreaking. It's also showing that when I take those actions, like, oh, I must love myself, right? Because I'm taking care of myself. I'm listening to myself, right? but it's about also honoring emotions with balance, with discernment, right? Because I did for the longest time let my emotions dictate my life, and that's that is not emotional freedom. This is what I'm trying to get for myself and for you guys, having the emotional freedom, meaning we allow the emotions, we feel all of them, we process them, but we don't let them dictate what we're going to do, right? This is where healthy discipline comes in. I think there can be healthy or unhealthy, like what I said about doing, like you could be disciplined, but doing something that is out of alignment to this. Like for me, it took discipline to go to marching band holding that tuba. Wasn't worth it. But there's healthy discipline knowing that I'm feeling bad right now, but I did say I'm going to work out at this time. I'm going to show up for myself. I like that way of speaking to yourself. I'm going to show up for myself, which means I said I'm going to do something. I know this is important for me. I'm going to show up for myself. And even if you don't, you go back to infinite self-compassion and say, oh, I said I wanted to do this, but I didn't do it. Why do you think that happened? What can I do better next time? That's it. Because the inner critic will blast you, berate you, saying, oh, you're lazy, you stupid POS, like you said you're going to do it. Why didn't you do it? That's such a stressful, state of being that won't serve you. And this is the thing about being in the trenches of that mind of, I understand it, right? Because you feel it serves you in some way, right? If I'm going to be too nice to myself, I'm going to be lazy. That's farthest from the truth. You're going to want to take action, but in a more alignment, balanced way, right? It's all about balance. What I said about discipline, because of course, I'm still, ever, work in progress, perfectly imperfect, but for me, it's because we value so much productivity in this world, and it's nice to be productive, but I think we use this word like laziness to be like, oh, I don't want to be lazy, to say like, oh, I don't want to take care of myself, basically, right? Because we're human beings, not human doings, right? What also helped me with Healthy Gamer was this analogy about everyone has different spoons, but I think I'll put in like a Pathfinder analogy, like everyone has different spell slots, or in my case, focus points, right? Some people have 3 focus points, some people have 1, and there's only so much I could do throughout the day, right? And I can compare to a full spellcaster. They have all these spells, right? I only have my 3 focus points, but I could do my best, and you could do your best, but not to compare ourselves, right? And just knowing ourselves, and that's what also what I've been guided to, this philosophy of Kaizen, of taking small action, like even doing this, like being okay with imperfect, small action has been such a game changer for my life, because it also gives me more agency. Because with this inner critic, it's about perfectionism, and perfectionism is the villain of doing, right? Because I can't tell you how many things I wanted to do, or things I even wanted to just experiment with, but I was like, oh, it's not going to be perfect, so I'm not going to do it, right? And that just stops us in our tracks, stops us from really living life, man. And I understand why, right? Because we had this belief about, if I'm perfect, I'm going to be safe. But it's such a fallacy, because it's literally impossible. What does it mean to be perfect? Only the divine is perfect, And as far as I'm concerned, I'm still in this, human experience. I'm going to be imperfect, and it's okay, right? It's okay, right? It's about just doing good enough. This is what it talks about in Pete Walker's book, about just doing good enough, a good enough job, right? And that could mean just I'm gonna, take imperfect action. I'm gonna do it better later, just get the ball rolling. I know this is getting kind of into coaching advice, but this has really, really helped me, and it feels really good to show up for yourself. Just do one Pomodoro and work on a project. It feels really good, and I feel it feels good for a reason, right? Because it's an alignment to me and to my purpose, and maybe to yours, right? Going back about this inner voice, how it makes us feel like we lack a deservability. I've had these thoughts, these beliefs that I don't deserve much, I don't deserve anything, right? And it's not about a sense of entitlement, but it's a sense of who are you, right? If you are in the image of the Holy Spirit, right? We are created in the images of God. I'm saying this in the Course perspective, not the Bible perspective, but that we are wholly lovable, and we deserve holy love, right? So we deserve peace, we deserve love, we deserve contentment, we deserve satisfaction, right? Pete Walker's book talked about like human rights, whatever resonates with you, but you deserve goodness, right? Because you are good, no matter what you've done. No matter what you've done, you are good, and you deserve goodness, right? Because if we believe the opposite, like, I don't deserve stuff, you're going to get that. Like how I said, I don't deserve respect, so I'm going to put myself in marching band for 4 years. I don't deserve, to be respected, to be cared, to be treated the way I want to be treated. And that's something, the golden rule, right? Treat others the way I want to be treated, but it's also vice versa. Not to be like, I want to have like a waiter serve. It's not about that, right? It's not. I feel the inner voice uses that to say, to discredit all goodness. Like, you don't want to be arrogant or entitled. It's not about that. It's just about taking care of yourself, right? Do you want to be yelled at? No. Why tolerate it? Do you want to be belittled? No. Why tolerate it? Why tolerate it, right? Because somewhere we believe we tolerated BS of safety, right? Tolerating BS of safety. I got this from the Crappy Childhood Fairy YouTube channel, and that's resonated so much, right? Because I'm going to share my experience. Like, as a little kid, I was called because I'm first generation Polish American. My parents are Polish. They'd call us Jołopa, which is I don't know how to translate it. It's just like it's a derogatory term. It just means like someone who can't get anything right, something like that. Kind of like I don't know, what do you call it? Like I don't know. Not as strong as idiot, but like a dummy. I guess it's close to some, but it's beratement to the child, right? I don't care what the justification is. It's it was harmful for me because I started believing honestly until I was like 20 something that I'm a Jołopa. I can't get anything right, and then I wouldn't take action to prove otherwise, right? Because I had this belief, and this is where the infant self-compassion comes in, right? My parents did their best, I understand it, but did not accept that, because this is what I'm saying about unity consciousness, right? Or champion consciousness. Do you think a champion would call himself a Jołopa or idiot, whatever you're calling yourself? No. What is the loving voice saying? Right? It's saying you're great. I know you can do your best. I believe in you, right? And it doesn't matter if I say it and everyone else around says it. If you don't believe it, it doesn't matter, right? So this is why the Course teaches us to remove the blocks of love, right? Whatever block of love, and I held on to it because I had this belief like, if I'm too nice to myself, I'll be lazy, I'll be worthless. And it's like, it's all productivity based, right? Like, this is the thing, what Course teaches us, I need to do nothing. Because I'm already connected with Him. I'm already as whole as I can be. I need to do nothing. I can be productive as much as I want, but it doesn't show my worth. My worth was given by God. Right? It can be never taken away because it was given. It's not something we earn. You understand? So like all this tyrannical inner voice is just the insanity of the ego, of the limited lower self that keeps us safe. It keeps us small. When I say safe, as in that's like our comfort zone, right? I don't like using the self-help stuff as much, but like I would say the safety of being in a cage, right? But we're not meant to be in cages. We're meant to fly, right? And for very long, I felt like I was in my own personal cage, but the Course says like the prison of the mind, right? But no longer, right? Because I made the vow to never abandon myself, right? All these like lower voices saying like, you can't do it, you're not good enough, whatever fear-based stuff is, it's all just the lower self trying to keep you in that cage. But when you have the objectivity, you understand why it's doing it. It wants to keep you safe. And remember what the Course says, like all sin is lack of love, right? And all attack is a call for love. And that's just a call for love, right? This is what it's saying, infinite compassion, right? Because it was just something we learned. We were those baby elephants, but now it's coming to the awareness. We are the big elephants, right? No rope can keep us chained, right? Okay, I think coming to a close. What I would like to say is, honor where you are. Yes, yes, and this is the key of the self abandonment of the toxic self help. Yes, because it's great. Whatever if you're listening to self help books, this is what I was doing. Tony Robbins, all this. These are all great, but the toxic self help is, oh, I'll accept myself then, right? When I have the money, when I have the body, whatever. And this is the antithesis of the Course in Miracles, right? Because there's only one moment, the holy instant, right? Right now, accept yourself right now. This is also, it can be a platitude. I've told myself many times, just accept yourself. What does that mean? It just means, like, what radical acceptance is, like, I'm here and I'm okay, right? Even if it doesn't seem right now on the external, but I'm here, I'm accepting myself, I'm going to be on my team, and if whatever I want to change, I can do it with myself, right? I'm not going to abandon myself until I achieve whatever I want to achieve. No, I'm going to be on my own team, now and forever. All right, I hope that resonates with you guys. Please, leave a like, subscribe, whatever, and take care.